Hi everyone. Thanks to the people tuning in, to the ones that are here, and also to Transition Radio for letting us create a project that means a lot to us. Today's show will be in English. Before introducing our guest, I would like to quickly present our show. Our residency is called HRG, which stands for Heal, Resist, Enjoy. HRG is a radiophonic project dedicated to exploring the power of art as a tool for healing, resistance, and self expression. It's a hybrid format that blends conversations with a dynamic DJ set, creating a fluid experience where ideas and music intersect. Through intimate dialogues, we discuss how creative forms challenge norms and encourage resilience. Today, the format of our show is special, as we will listen to two albums our guest just released and have a conversation about their creative practices. We will try to shed light on how art can be a political tool and how resilience and healing emerge through it. We feel really lucky to welcome Filmsaaz, an audiovisual artist whose works bring a bold lens upon contemporary youth culture, exploring topics of awakening from contendings, Islamic youth, queerness, and toxic masculine cultures, questioning empathy and compassion. Some of their work seeks to re-examine history and internet found footage archives by making films with little to no budget. Their films have been shown at film festivals such as Cannes, Berlinale, Venice, and Locarno. Filmsaaz has made 18 short films which have been included in over 150 film festivals around the world and have won 40 awards. They are the youngest person ever selected for La Résidence de Cannes, Biennale College Cinema, Berlinale Talents, and Locarno Academy. Other than filmmaking, Filmsaaz also produces music and is also a DJ. Welcome, Filmsaaz. We're
Thank
so
you.
happy that you're here.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
pleasure. Funny introduction. Is this working? No?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it's working.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure. It's the first time that I am doing like a interview for my music work, so it's really nice to present my music. I hope you guys enjoy it. And at first, we're gonna listen to a EP that I just completed like one month ago. Uh, I was in the south of France and I made a lot of music, and then 4 or 5 of them I made using the samples that I've used from the protests and the manifestations I've been to Paris and Tehran. So I made an EP called Murmure Politique, like political whispers, and which kind of has political lyrics used in it, but musically is kind of bright and peaceful. So it's kind of like a peaceful mind who has some echoes of political slogans in the background of the mind. And yeah, that's it. So we're gonna now listen to the first two songs. The first song is called the Antifa Lullaby, and the second song is called On est plus chaud que les hétéros. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you so much for these two tracks. So the first one was called the Antifa Lullaby, and the second one is On est plus chaud que les hétéros, so means we're more hot than the heterosexuals, like more motivated than the heterosexuals.
It's true.
These are very two intense titles, very expressive. Like there's a strong message in the titles. Do you want to maybe tell us a bit about?
Yeah, I mean, the second track uses this sample that I recorded in a manifestation in Paris that people are saying on a plus chaud que les hétéros. So that is because of that. And then the first track is also I mean, I was doing my laundry and I was singing this melody to myself. Siamo tutti antifascisti. And then I record my voice on my phone, so I remember these melodies and I make them later. And I really use that recording that I did when I was doing my laundry. So, I mean, as you can see, the quality of the music is maybe not the best because it was done with the least equipment. But I hope you can still enjoy it.
Of course. Which demonstration was it in Paris?
I think it was like for the Pride or something like that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But the recordings really bring this atmospheric touch to the track, and you kind of really feel it. Like you can sense the space, and it also feels like it's in this echo of these people talking, and it gives a bit of humanity as well to the track, which is really nice. I think there's, as you said, like there's this very nice bright energy in the second track, especially like sort of white noise. But you have that bass, which is kind of giving the rhythm, and it gives them a bit more obscure kind of
yeah.
energy.
I mean, that's what I think excites me in art, is to kind of make you love the things you hate, or like kind of make you feel a bit in between, as using, and of course using the past knowledge, doing that with the past knowledge. So trying to change the definitions of things. And for music, I think I always say the best compliment they can give my music, or I can give to music, one of the best compliments is that my face looks very confused, but my head is moving like this. So you don't know exactly why, but the music is working. And I mean, that's what excites me in music, to like put like very different kinds of samples and music, different kinds of emotions and feelings, and somehow make them harmonious and make them work together. And also in my films and in even the way I dress myself, I try to like make people a bit confused of they don't know how to feel. I don't know. Yeah. Yes.
In a way, you're trying to challenge like what is expected.
Exactly.
It's like it's a bit of a subtle attack.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of using the definitions that we have already made in our mind, like the concepts we have already made up in our mind, and manipulating them into saying something new, like using the same aesthetic, the same standards, but using it in a newer way somehow. Yeah, so like now I dress myself as my mom would, so to make some people a bit confused and maybe make them think a little. And yeah, now we move to the next track from the EP. It's called Begu Khaharam, Khaharam Begu, which in Farsi it means say it, sisters, sisters say it. And it uses, it's a very short track. Like I was like playing on Ableton like 30 minutes at the sunset with the clarinet. And this is like the last 2 minutes of that playing. And on top of it, there's a sample from the Woman Life Freedom protests that were happening in Iran in like winter of 2022. And it's an incredible video. It's an incredible video is like this chaotic moment, like there are like 3 police cars on fire, people like are in the streets, like it looks like a battlefield, and there is a girl on top of the police car with her scarf, and she's saying, جمهوری اسلامی نمیخوایم the Islamic Republic we don't want the Islamic Republic. And then the girl starts to film, and she has a joint in her hand, the girl that is filming, so you can see the joint. She's like, say it, sister, say it. And I don't know, it's an incredible moment. It's a very powerful moment. So that's the first track, and then the second track is called that's the third track of the EP, and the fourth track is called Et nous aussi on passera en force, which also uses the sample from Manifestation in Paris. And then there's the last track, which is called Whispers of Those Chants Still Remain. Am I correct?
You are.
Yeah, which kind of is again with this whole concept of like, even though like maybe right now my mind is kind of free of noise, there are still whispers of those chants from these protests that I have experienced somehow. And then again, it uses Siamo tutti antifascisti sample. Anywho, so let's listen. And what does it mean, nous aussi on passera en force?
And us too will take strength or power or something.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Saleh. So that was your first EP. It was really, really nice. We really had the opportunity, I think, to dive into something deep. And yeah, I really had the feeling that you challenge like a dark side with something lighter. And yeah, it was really, I don't know, introspective. It was really nice. Thank you.
De rien.
um, if you're okay, we I think we would be interested to understand a bit more like the link between your two main practices, so producing music and filmmaking.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a bit more about it?
Yes. So I've been mainly making a living from making films. Just by chance, I guess, since I was a child, I started as a child actor and then I started making films and then it became my occupation, luckily. But I've been always making music on the side. And it's tough to be a filmmaker. It's really tough to be a filmmaker. The industry is really tough, and the whole creative process of filmmaking is really intoxicating, I would say. Like that is really difficult to keep the creative energy until the end of the process, until the film is made. So that's why it's very important for me to do different ways of uh, emptying the creative energy that is like a really a physical need for me, and music is really the best place to do that. So I would just go in my room and just play music without having to make a dossier and an intention note, and without having to talk. I have like the work with 100 people and wait 5 years. You just like it kind of flows with you. So that's why, I mean, I really love making music, and the name that I use is called it's Filmsaaz, which in Farsi it means filmmaker. To kind of I mean, for many many different reasons, but I think one reason that is related to what we were saying is that kind of change the image that exists now of a filmmaker, which right now I think a filmmaker is more of a businessman, you know, is like someone who can deal with a big team and go to meetings and do a proper budget, and is less of an artist, I would say. So to kind of like show that no, you can also make films and but have like a approach that is closer to music, which is more intuitive and is more um how to say, fluid somehow.
Yeah, yeah, completely. And I was wondering if you like blend music and filmmaking together. Like, for instance, do you make music in your own films?
Yeah, usually make the music. I mean, I have always made the music for my films myself, and in the past 2-3 years, actually, that's why I have kind of like decided to let go of the label of a filmmaker, and also the artistic name of Saleh Kashefi, and kind of rebrand myself as Filmsaaz and as an audiovisual artist. So anything to do with sound and image, and with a special focus, especially on the sound. So in the past 2-3 years, I've been really like doing a new technique of making my films, which has made my work way more tougher, and it's complicated, but I'm very happy with the results that I get. Is that the process is that after the shooting of my films, when starting to edit, usually the film industry, I mean everybody usually does first the image edit, and then they do the sound edit at the very end, maybe.
Yeah.
But how I do it is that I first do the sound. I first do like a version of the sound, and then I do the image edit according to the sound. So it will be more like the sound leading the image. So that's why the films, I'm really trying to make them more like musical in a way, even though they're maybe not musicals, the genre, but the montage is very musical. The rhythm of it is very musical.
And when you're producing music for the movie, do you produce your music as like you know where you're going with that, or you like let creativity
Yeah.
lead you?
No, to make my music is really like the whole point is to not think at all.
Okay, yeah,
Like really, that is the whole point of
yeah,
me making music. That because I think enough already for my films with the whole dossiers and
yeah,
meetings and the fucking labs and the film festivals and the
yeah,
residencies and the programs. So the whole point of making music for me is to have a little time that there is actually no thinking and no intention and no nothing but just to play. Uh, and of course there is a lot of intention, as you can see
yeah,
there's a lot of context in my work, but they really come more naturally,
yeah.
and it's just immediately without doubting it. And also I have a rule for making my music that I think I better stop this rule soon. Is that I make my music, all of the songs that I have made, I make them in one session. So I sit behind
Okay,
the keyboard and the computer and I work on each song once. I don't go to the project again.
okay,
Again, if in the sake of keeping the intuitiveness, keeping
yeah,
the whole thing of like, I don't want to overthink. I don't want to do the same thing that I do with my films, that I work on the same project for 6 years
yeah,
and it's going nowhere. And the whole point is to kind of just accept things as they are. Right now I listen to my music and of course I can see some things could be better, some things can always improve, but that's the case with everything. You can always find something wrong with things, and
yeah,
the whole
completely.
point of this is for me to kind of accept it
Mhm.
as it is.
Would you say in a way that it has like a therapy side or like healing side of like just going and trusting the process and letting go?
Definitely. I mean, for me, I think the whole point of life is to therapy. That's really something I believe. I think like the whole point of like my everyday life is to self therapy myself. Every day I wake up and I try to like work on my mental health and reflect and um, kind of grow. And of course clearly is the same with my practice. That is really the main reason that I do it, first of all because it really helps me without paying a therapist and
Mhm.
also getting paid very little to also do self-therapy. So definitely that is the first. I mean, that's where I put all of my questions, all of my pain, all of my I really like try to, especially in my films, to go really in the dark sides of my traumas and pain. And of course for some people sometimes it's a bit too tough to encounter it, but which I also understand. But for me that's really like how I can manage to right now sit with you and smile and look proper is because I have times in my room alone that I try to really go deep in the dark of my soul. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've always asked myself this question of like, what creates taste in like any creative process? You know, like if you produce music, why do you choose certain sounds in contrast to others? Is it stuff that is it because it feels nice, like on the moment, because you feel that you lack that vibration in your life and you want to hear it again and again, and because you're working, I mean, if you do it all in one shot, then you're not hearing it again, again, again. But throughout your tracks, there's definitely like some common pattern, and maybe it's also sounds that made you feel good at
Definitely.
that moment and
Mm.
healed you in some way.
That is a great question. I mean, it's a big question, and we have to like inquire together, like the whole concept of taste, like is it anything but judgment and prejudice? Taste, like we say, like, oh, I like this kind of people, but I don't like this kind of people. I like this clothes, but I don't like that clothes. I like this food, but I don't like that food. And it's always actually working together. Is never one of them. You only like the things you like because you don't like other things. So it's also the same, and that is the whole funny thing about the process of creation, that taste is a huge part of it. It's a huge part of it to have some kind of taste, I would say, which all is because of the past knowledge that we have. So if you, for example, if you I mean, before, or maybe even now, when I listen to like very conventional pop music, I really get like some kind of physical pain. You know, it's
Physical
really like a,
reaction.
yeah, it's really like a physical thing for me. So, and so it shows that is, of course, my judgment, and now it has also entered my body memory
Yeah.
and body character. So that's why music is especially so physical. So that's why it's so beautiful that sometimes when I'm playing music, it's like suddenly after the jam session finishes, I suddenly go like, oh wow, I was making music, because I was like not even aware, like there was like no me when I was doing it. So and I suddenly find myself. And what is funny is that even though there was no me, there was taste in it. There was that memory. There was all of that judgment of okay, which note. But it's so intuitive that it's completely physical. It's not words somehow.
Yeah, there's no thought, like, I mean, that much of thought
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah.
In a way that you forget yourself, but you also encounter yourself in such a
Yeah.
deep way, no?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, that's why you should not so much worry about your intuition. I mean, that's what we all say, that, oh, but if we don't know what is good or bad, we will do bad or we will become evil. No, but if you really truly, I don't know, believe and have faith, I think good will always flow, and it's not good anymore. It's just like just
Love.
what it is. Yeah, I mean, I really believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so just before you mentioned that you use Filmsaaz as your
Yeah.
current stage name.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in why that intention, and also about your identity as Iranian queer artist here in Europe. And just to precise, you came here 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And you were in
4.5.
France before, and now you're based in Geneva.
Yeah.
But maybe if you want to tell us a bit about.
I mean, it's two different topics: the Filmsaaz and being an exiled
Yeah.
artist. Um, Maybe the second question is more interesting. Is that, yeah? I mean, because of I mean, the situation in Iran is nothing new. A lot of filmmakers every day, a lot of artists every day are forced to leave the country and live in exile. And it happened the same for me, that because of my films, I unfortunately have reached a point that I cannot go back. And I'm trying to somehow fit in the system here, which is quite different. And yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, my question is how is your identity? I mean, this identity, this like
Yeah.
first layer that institutions or the industry sees in you, in the film industry mainly. Like how, yeah, we've talked about, how your movies, um, they're political because they resist in a way to the Islamic Republic, and it's often a topic inside of your works. But yeah, how is your identity seen? Because we're I mean, we're in the Western world. Do you feel that you've been excluded from certain spaces? Do you feel that you've been misjudged? Do people have a lot of expectation of
Yeah.
what do you have to produce in film, and how these films? What is the message of these films? Like how political? What is political in your films?
Then again, I mean, as a as an Iranian artist, no matter what you do, it's political. Like, even if I film the wall, literally, there's a film by a friend that is he just filmed the walls of Tehran, and it's super political. So no matter what I do, I mean, there is always this fucking Iranian stamp on my forehead. So which is okay. It's kind of a responsibility, and that is why like my work is also naturally political, because it's like something that I cannot help. And but I think like what I've been struggling with now working in the West, and I think is also the same with even artists working in in Iran, because the West kind of runs the whole art scene of the world. Is that from world of artists from the world global south, or whatever you want to call it, they are kind of like expected to follow certain topics and certain approaches. So it's kind of a bit of a shame that you feel like you don't have the right to be artistic. The only thing that matters is that you have to be political. So there is that's why none of my films have ever got any funding, and I've always made my films with no budget, or very 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 little budget. Is not an artistic choice. A lot of people go like, "Oh, you're a no budget filmmaker." I'm like, yeah, it's because I just don't have money. If you give me money, I would use it with so much pleasure. I have tried. I have applied to all the fundings, all of them. I have worked, but unfortunately, the funding systems are looking for a certain kind of cinema from Iran or the global south. That kind of my approach doesn't fit in, so they kind of feel like if you want to talk about the situation in Iran, you have to follow a certain formula, like an aesthetic formula, which is like a social melodrama, porno misery kind of thing, which I think is not political at all, and is actually making things worse than it is. And it's important to actually talk about the woman life freedom movement, which is a movement empowering rebellious punk movement in the same artistic tone and aesthetic, but they want it to be done in the same usual porno misery realistic way, and the European artist is the one that does all the crazy stuff, and that's why they are always leading where things go.
Yeah, very colonial approach of what filmmakers should produce, like according to who they are and what are their identities. So like anyway, you also like your movies, like as I said in the beginning, were in like many festivals, and you won also like awards for that. And how do you feel about it? Do you have the feeling that you can like break the rules?
Yeah, I really believe in it.
Yeah.
I really believe in it, because you have to push, and it's difficult and it's hard. I mean, that's why most people don't even try, or maybe they try once and they fail and they just give up because it's difficult. And but I really believe it. I really believe that we should keep pushing our this approach, even with the minimum things that we have, even with like just make a film with your phone, do it with your closest friends, like just do whatever you want, but do it in the same way that you want. And if you truly, I don't know, if you truly love cinema, maybe it sounds a bit ridiculous, but if you truly love what you are doing, it's gonna show.
Yeah.
It's gonna show. Um and the film festival at that point doesn't have any other choice but to accept you. It's like and then they will watch your film, and then they will listen to your music. They go like, okay, come on in. So that is the way you should do. But most people want the things to be like more, which is more safe, which I completely understand, because there's a lot of money involved. So producers don't take any risk. They don't want to take any risk because there's a money, and they know if you apply with such a project, you're not gonna get it. It's complicated a lot. So they always go with the safer project, because also in Europe, producers don't put any money of their own, and they get paid also through the same way that we do. So that's why, unfortunately, there's always this process. And but yeah, voilà.
Yeah, thanks. Well, that's good. Thank you. And still, you mentioned love. So, like, as an emotion, to put in your in your movies. And I'm just interested about other types of emotions that resisting the actual, system or whatever the dominant narrative. So, what is rage? What is violence? Are these interesting emotions according to you to illustrate in your practice? Like, how do you do resistance without destroying everything and just being counterproductive? But how do you transcend what is actually? Do you need violence? Like, do we need violence? So, what is violence?
A big question, and so
sorry. I know you can answer to this. So.
Yeah. I mean, the topic that I'm most obsessed with, which Roman failed to read when she was reading the biography at the beginning, is awakenings from conditionings. Is something that I'm very, I think is like kind of maybe the most important topic for me to explore, to question, is there a way to be free? And how is it, what is the process of it and everything. And so that's the topic I've been most obsessed with, which is in kind of all of my work and all of my films is talking about this topic. And the PhD project I am working on now is and the master thesis I wrote also is really like a very detailed research on the whole cognitive process of awakening and how we can illustrate it into the audiovisual form. So I'm really obsessed with this topic. And of course, you ask about rage and anger. I think rage and anger is a very important part of breaking free, but it's not the end point of the process. So that is why a lot of my films are, of course, about the youth, the younger generation, especially in Iran, who are full of anger, full of rage, which is due to the fact that they have broke free from their abusive masters somehow. And the moment that you break the chains and you escape, you hate your master and you are full of rage and violence against them. So it's completely natural. But then hopefully you will go so far away from that cage that you kind of can also look at that violence with love again. And so that those are the next steps of the awakening. But the rage is really something that is also very visual and sonic. So it can be very much, it's very nice to, it's just completely natural to put it in our work. I think that is the best way of dealing with our anger. It's not good to like keep anger every day, every second of our life. We walk like this. I hate everyone. It's not good. It's not healthy to walk like that. But so that's why creativity is the best way to deal with pain and heal and therapy and all, because you can put all of these emotions in your work and then it's already somehow out of your system. And then you can go on and look at other humans without wanting to punch them in the face.
that's good. That's a good way to heal, actually, in a way. I think if you guys are okay, we could follow with the LP.
Yes.
Maybe would you like to say
Yeah.
some words before that?
Yes. So the LP is also something I think I made like end of March, so very recently. What is that? Like a month and a half ago. So very fresh. These both of the albums. I made it because I was working like 9-10 months on the editing of my first feature film, which is called Wolfgang. And so I've been really like kind of like emptying nearly all of my creative energy into that project. And as soon as I finished like the kind of a final cut, which is not uh, of that film, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make music. And I started making music, and the thing I was trying to do this time is to keep it really simple, really simple. I was really like not overthink, really simple, ambient. I'm not gonna put crazy bass or I'm really trying to keep it simple. And then after the first day, after the second day, I was like, wait a minute, I'm making an album here. So I would kind of go, I was like, okay, why not? Let's make an album. I think we all always like overthink, like, no, my first album, I need to make it with a record label and I want it to like be, I don't know, perfect. And it's kind of the same process as making a first feature film, which I also did the same thing with my first feature film. So kind of like again to stop overthinking, I was like, okay, let me just make a first LP, and it came out as this album, which is called Harmony / Disharmony. And yeah, it's a album which is I think 45 minutes, and yeah, we can start listening to it. It kind of explores some different themes. I think maybe the main theme is death and accepting death, because I think it's like very very important to accept death as like just a huge fact of life, and especially these days because back home in Iran my grandmother is getting older and older, and she's everybody's kind of like prepared for her death. So I was thinking about her a lot making this album, and there's a lot of samples of Iranian instruments, different ones. We're gonna do some little pauses in between some of the
Yeah, please.
tracks, and we're gonna discuss them. So the first track is called "Back Home Is Sunny Today," so which is very clear because in Tehran is usually sunny, unlike Geneva.
Like in all the global south, there's only sun.
Yeah. So the first track is called "Back Home Is Sunny Today," and the second track. The second track is called "This Race Has an End to It." So enjoy and see you after.
나나 구르자리니시 아이디게 피시 비치냐 어세마 피리시 그르스와이네 마 구르자리 피리시
سلام صالح جان، پیاماتو شنیدم، خوابای قشنگ دیده بودی. امیدوارم که قبل از مردنم در بیداری ببینمت، چون خیلی دلم برات تنگ شده. قربانت، خداحافظ.
Thank you. These two first tracks of Harmony, Disharmony, your first album. Was it your first album? Yes.
Yes, first
sort
LP.
of. Yeah.
First long album.
First banger.
No, first long album. I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, thank
Sorry.
you. Thank you.
Banger. So this second track ended with the recording of your grandmother.
Yes.
Was very cute. I don't know. I've just
Yeah,
the
that's
sweet
my
voice.
grandma. I had a dream about her, and then I sent her a voice message, and I told her my dream, and I think she answered like a week later at 2 a.m. She's very spontaneous these days, and she says that thanks. I listened that you have had some nice dreams. I hope I see you one day in reality and not in dreams. I hope I see you again in reality and not in the dreams. And I miss you a lot and I love you. And that's it. Something like this. And so that's kind of like the beginning of the whole grandma, missing grandma, accepting death, being in exile, being away from home, and this whole theme about it.
So it's like sort of death of your past life in Iran,
Yes.
maybe, and like beginning of new life in.
Yes.
And this was, when was this?
What?
When she passed away?
She hasn't passed away yet.
Okay.
But better
sorry.
to accept death before it punches us in the face.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but she's gonna pass away soon, and that's a fact. But maybe I will pass away even before her. We don't know.
You never know.
We don't know. Maybe even right
maybe
now.
you've already passed away. Getting meta. So, the second track is called "This Race Has an End to It."
This race has an end.
Which race are you talking about?
The race of life.
Okay.
Like, let's just accept the fact that it has an end to it, and so let's just enjoy the ride.
The juice.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. You can put.
And
the
the next track we're gonna listen to is called "Some Actions Resonate Harmoniously." It's from a chat I was having with ChatGPT, and talking about if we don't know what is good and bad, how do we know? Like,
what do
we won't do evil and everything. And they had very beautiful insights about that. Some actions resonate harmoniously. That's a fact. Just when you water a plant and when you smile at another person in the subway, you know. And then what is the next one?
The disappointment countdown.
Oh yeah, and then the next one is called the disappointment countdown. So it's like a countdown for your next disappointment. And then it's called He Lied. And then after that, we do another pause.
Cool. Let's go.
Let's go.
I  .
Thank you, Saleh. So nice. Like this last track, I just love it. I think it's so cute, so beautiful, so nostalgic, and yeah, it really touches me. Like particularly, I think it has something dramatic, but at the same time, like I don't know, with like some hope and love. I don't know. It's really nice, and yeah, thank you for creating it. This. Yeah, I have the feeling it's like, you know, when you're listening to a song and you have the feeling that you already listened to it
Mm-hmm.
and it reminds you something,
Mm-hmm.
even though it
Yeah.
wasn't the first time I listened to it, but when I
Mm-hmm.
listened to it for the first time, it gave
Yeah.
me that feeling. And yeah, so beautiful and so powerful.
Yeah, it's called He Lied, and there is a sample of a Iranian traditional singing, how can I say, music, and he's singing, oh, میان چشم تو دیوانه گشتم. It's like, and he's like, up in between your eyes, I went crazy, but he lied.
This is the twist.
And then later there's a track, I think, then I don't know what is the no, and then I think two tracks later is Forgive Him. So that's the next step.
This is connected. Nice.
And should we move on to the next one? So the next, yes.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to add. So, I mean, still in your movies, there's always this narrative
Uh-huh.
element. There's always like a story that you're saying.
Yeah.
That nothing is put randomly.
In music, you mean?
In music,
Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, it relates also to your
Yeah,
film
yeah,
practice.
definitely. I mean, that's also another reason that I chose the name Filmsaaz, is because for me this is a film without image. It's really like for me it has like a narrative structure, and especially like the radio mixes I've done is kind of really like a film without image. So there's a lot of sampling, there's a lot of field recordings, there's a lot of spoken words. So I mean, see, it has this cinematic quality, which is really something that excites me the most in music. I think the kind of music that I love the most is the ones that it feels like I'm watching a whole film, because you can really imagine the images and the visuals. Like it takes you somehow to another place. So that is why I mean I really enjoy um, telling stories. I think I mean with the sound. So I always try to like tell a little little thing, and I cannot help it.
It's
I
you.
cannot
It's
help
just
it.
everything that comes
Yeah.
out of you is that.
Yeah. I cannot help it.
But it's really nice that we have this format today, so you can talk
Mm.
more about it, because
Yeah.
we would never imagine all of
Yeah.
this. I mean, we can have
Yeah.
interpretations.
Yeah, yeah.
We could think maybe stories
Yeah.
that would remind us
Yeah.
what your titles
Yeah.
mean. But so
Yeah.
it's nice that we have today to
Yes.
learn more about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like for example, the next track, it has this like layer that I think only maybe the Iranian listeners would maybe understand if they pay attention and if they maybe know the context of it, because the next track is called "She Was Only 16," and it uses the sample uh, of a girl who was killed during the Woman Life Freedom movement. Her name was Sarina, and she was only 16, and she was killed in the protests. And then later, after I found out that on YouTube she had a YouTube channel, and she has posted like 4 or 5 videos, and one of the videos is called "The Shittiness of Being an Iranian Youth." And she sits in front of the camera and talks very emotionally about her, like she has done some little research, talking with her friends, and really saying some really actually intelligent things with her teenage innocence. And it's really nice. And so under this track, there is the sample of that video, so we hear her voice as she talks about it. And then what is the next track?
Blossomed life again.
Blossom Life Again. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember how was the music exactly, to be honest. But yeah, Blossom Life Again. I mean, life will always blossom again. No matter how many times the gardener comes and cuts the grass, nature is so forgiving. It never goes like, "Fuck you, I'm not gonna grow again." You fucking human. He's gonna grow again.
Yes. I love that metaphor.
Yeah. And then what is the next one?
The soundless sound.
The soundless sound. Yeah, it's.
Pardon.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah.
So no, it will be. She was 16, then forgive him, then
Oh my
the
God.
observer
Yeah,
is
she jumped a lot.
observed. And then we will do a pause after the observer is
Yes.
observed.
Yeah. So after she was only 16, is forgive him. So it's the second step of forgiving that lover who you thought he was the love of your life, and then the next one. The observer is the observe, which is a huge conversation to talk about. Maybe
Let's
we talk
talk
about it
about it.
after.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this last one track was called "The Observers is the Observed."
Yes.
Everyone is
Heavy
observing.
sentence.
Do you want to tell us a bit
Yeah,
about
I
this
mean,
last
this
one?
sentence maybe is a bit too outdated, but it has a very good point. Maybe we can find like a more lighter, comprehensive, uh, I don't know, more modern way of telling the same thing, which is kind of about, I guess, there is always this judgmental voice in my head that is always trying to tell me what is good and what is bad, and trying to like always criticize or like comment on things. And actually that one that is commenting is the main problem, I would say.
Is one of the observer.
Yeah, so that is the observer. So the thing is that the observer that is constantly making comments, commentating, and observing everything, comparing, making comparison, measuring everything, that actually is the thing that needs to be observed. In fact,
Interesting.
yes.
Different layers. But so where does this sentence come from?
I think even like in Sufism, we say Shahid Mashhude, like exactly the observer is the observed. But me, I mean, the English term, I've heard it from Jiddu Krishnamurti, who was like an Indian philosopher, a very interesting character. And I think, I mean, I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from him by just reading his books and listening to his talks on YouTube. I mean, he's already passed away in the 90s, I think. But I learned a lot from him. He's a pretty intense person. I try to just listen to what is said and not focus on the person so much. And yeah, so the observer is a really good pointer, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice because in the end, your albums, there is that narrative fil rouge, like this line.
Yeah.
But there's also a deep philosophical, element to what you produce.
Yeah.
It's not only about stories, but it's also really representing your own emotion, your own journey,
Yeah.
and what you learn. And there's definitely
Yeah.
this will that I feel like you really want to share what you're
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to waste any time. If I have a chance for somebody else to listen what I say, I rather say something that I find valuable rather than just saying whatever. So that's why, I mean, every conversation that I have, I really try to um, learn something and I don't know, share insights. So that's why I think in my work I also, and all of the titles actually come from my notebook that I've been keeping like every day since 7 years. I write a lot to myself. So every time I want to name the tracks, I just go in there, go like, okay, this sentence is interesting, and I put it there.
Very spontaneous.
Yes.
Yeah, still again linking again to this whole creative process of healing. Like you learn things, but you also want to share it, and it's this cycle. Yeah, and I really loved this last track because there was also the melody with the recordings. Maybe you want to say a bit about that melody.
Yeah, the the observer track uses there are many I mean, in this album is full of samples, like all of my work. It's one of the factors that help like kind of put together and make this ensemble of very different things and somehow make them harmonious. Very disharmony selection of things, but make them harmonious. And this track, for example, uses a sample of the Hungarian chants, like very folk chants in Hungary. And under there is like an 808 bass. And then there is a setar sample from like an Iranian instrument. And then under there is also a sample of tombak, another Iranian instrument. And there is a lot of like other layers from the MIDI Ableton
Mhm,
stuff. Yes.
Yeah, it's very nice because we can definitely sense that there's like some cultural um, weight. Like, I mean, we sense that it's not just electronic music and it's just some neutral sounds, but there's some history behind. But you then get a bit challenged with your like the symbols you have in your head, because there's so many different cultures also mixed to like one instrument that is from Iran, but then you have
Yeah.
your Hungarian. So it's again like what you said at the beginning, it's like disorientating in a way, but it's not at all,
Yeah.
because there's definitely this harmony as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that is where we should. I think because already all stories have been told already. Somehow all genres have been discovered, and the way we can discover new stories and new genres and new ways of expression is to combine them together. So that is really incredible for me. Like if you meet to see like musicians from different parts around the world like to play together and try to find the harmony and somehow the love that is between them. So I mean, that is, I think, the power of music. I would
Yeah,
say.
definitely.
Yeah. So
Thank
that
you.
no matter how different it may sound, they can sound good together.
For
Right.
sure.
So the
wanna-
next track, if yeah, the next track is called "She Was Only 16 too." So is a track which is
Wait, so 2TOO.
TOO, yeah, also. So because this track also uses a sample from another 16-year-old girl who was killed in the protests in Iran in the Women Life Freedom Movement, called Nika Shah Karami, who was such a lovely, lovely girl, very rebellious and free-spirited, and she was raped and killed extremely brutally by the police during the protests. And there is like a video like 10 minutes before her arrest that she's like on the trash bag, like on fire, like saying like death to the dictator. So this song is kind of a tribute to her, which uses a sample of her. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's at a school or like a school trip, that she's singing. She's on the stage. It's a beautiful video of her, like, and she sings. She's like, "Guys, don't laugh," and everybody's laughing. And he's like, "Ye dil mige beram beram," which is this beautiful Iranian song, and that's it. So this song uses that sample from that video, and then the next track is
Blossomed Life Again.
"Blossom Life Again," which we talked about before. Not gonna
Yeah.
repeat myself. And the next one.
The next one is The Soundless Sound.
The Soundless Sound is a very short one, and it uses a sample from this Iranian song again. That the first, it just uses the piano at the beginning of it, but the first sentence it says is that "Sedaye bi seda," which means the soundless sound. So that's why. And then we do another pause, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go. Yes. So that was the soundless sound. صدای بی صدا.
Thank you so much. It was so chill and deep. Yeah, I was wondering what was the instrument playing in that last
It's
track.
the sample I told you is from this artist Farhad, Iranian artist, and it's a very famous song of him from the, actually was a soundtrack of this movie before the revolution, Reza Motori, if I'm correct. And yeah, the first sentence he says is that oh sedai bi seda, which means the soundless sound.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, nice.
Random. Yes. So should we?
Yeah, so I think I don't know if you would like to add a few things before listening to the last two songs of the
Yes.
LP, and after that we will be done. So
Yeah,
maybe we can.
we can say goodbye before listening to the last tracks. You
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yes.
Did you learn anything out of this album? Like what are you taking out of it?
Just
And
that,
what's the future? What's next?
just that music is so nice, and that we should stop overthinking and just do that thing that we've always wanted to do, because the future is now. And stop wasting your time, stop postponing, and just make that music you've always wanted to make instead of working on it for 4 years. And yes, so that is the thing. I made this album in 4 days. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I think I like what it did was that it kind of like uh I emptied this like big luggage that was on my shoulder somehow, of like, oh, one day I'm gonna make an album. And now it's kind of like whatever is an album, I don't know if it's any good, but whatever. So now I'm gonna make many more.
And
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, in your future, you want to produce music, as I
Yeah.
understood, but also keep making films. Like, do you also,
Yeah.
because like through this conversation, I think we also understood that it could be really tough sometimes. This word, like the cinematic word. Do you still have pleasure doing that as well?
Yeah. I love cinema a lot, and I really believe in its power of how it what it can do. So definitely I would love to make films, but um um and it's the way that it's somehow I'm making a living from making films right now, but I think slowly I am getting a little bit more somehow established as a musician, very little, which I really hope it will help make a living from music as well. I mean, when I was living in Paris, my main way of making money was to DJ. So I mean, I really enjoy it. I really think it's the best way to make money. I really like it. I really recommend it, and I hope uh, we will get to a point that I am kind of mainly making my living through music, so then I can be free in my films, I would say, and don't have to go through the intoxicating process we were talking about. But definitely, I mean, I have a lot of movie projects, a lot, and I'm working on, and I'm very excited about, and they all go together. They are all part of the same thing, and but I just got the amazing news that I'm gonna start this residency in Geneva called L'Abri, which is focused on music making.
Bravo.
Yes, so
That's so
it's nice that for the first time I'm gonna have some equipment, some support to make my music. So I'm really excited. I think I'm gonna really try to take some time to focus on music in the next year. So that's nice.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Mm.
Saleh. Really,
Yeah,
it was a really
pleasure.
lovely conversation. Thank you for being so
Plaisir.
open and honest
Pleasure.
and vulnerable. It's amazing. Thank you.
It's easy.
Yeah, thank you. It was really nice, really precious moment that we shared.
Yes,
Merci.
thank you.
So
Last two songs.
maybe I give a little intro to the next two songs, the
Yeah,
last two
please.
songs of the album. The next one is called "Love is Not the Opposite of Hate," right? It's very true. Yeah, a lot of time we forget about that. And we kind of like love the people we love because we hate some other people. But when you understand, actually, it's not the opposite of each other. And this track uses a sample, which from a YouTube video that I love, is a very famous one. Is a legendary YouTube video of this guy reacting to a double rainbow. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a really famous one of this guy on the mountains hiking, and he's, I don't know if he's on acid or something, or he's just like filled with joy, looking at a double window, filming it, and he cries with so much joy. And the album cover of the Harmony, Disharmony, is the picture of this double rainbow and the belly button of my lover. and and so this is this track, and then the last track is called "Death Will Stay." Yeah, death will stay at the very end. When all life is gone, what will stay is death. Thank you very much. Enjoy.